What's up, bitches? This is the all-knowing Silent Rob. Right every time, first time. First time, every time, always right. Every single time. Anything I say, motherfuckers, if Silent Rob is telling you the world's about to end, then it's about to end, bitches. Okay, I'm the only one you need to listen to on that shit, because I'm always right. It's fucking painful to be this right all the fucking time. It's exhausting, motherfucker. I'm about to take a nap after I make this video. But if you guys didn't already know, PlayStation 1 classic games have been announced. And then the world wept. Because I've pretty much 100% right. The only thing I really got wrong was Metal Gear Solid being on there, which is really surprising to me, actually. But I'll get to that in a minute. So I'm going to run through each and every one of these games and give you my opinion. But I'm going to tell you guys right now, I'm not buying this. And I really don't recommend any of you guys buy this. Okay, let me tell you guys something, okay? Putting PlayStation 1 games onto a RetroPie, like a Raspberry Pi, I know you guys hear this shit all the time. The entire gaming community has pretty much become that, where somebody's like, original hardware, RetroPie, original hardware, RetroPie, let's suck each other's dicks, okay, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Like, they're just, this is like this endless debate. Okay, I get it. Some people like to own the game, have the game. Some people, like me, like to do both, but mostly I don't give a fuck, you know what I mean? And I'm certainly not paying hundreds and hundreds of dollars for a Super Nintendo cartridge, okay? Because I'm not a virgin, all right? So what we come down to here is Sony wanting to get into this retro tiny console thing because they see, you know, it's just basically like printing money. You know, we got these IPs of all these old fucking franchises and shit just sitting around collecting dust. And most people that know how to get these games for free or already own these games because they're dirt fucking cheap, like I already said, you know, some people might not know how to get access to them. And that's what this console is doing. It's just preying upon people that at one time had a PlayStation 1 and don't really play games too much anymore and just want to get back into the PlayStation. Because with anyone with some common fucking sense would realize that most people have a PS3. PS3 plays PS1 games. PS1 games, especially the ones that are on this collection, are not expensive, bitches. Except maybe like a couple, and I'll get to that in a minute. Don't buy this, okay? Even people without any technical know-how, it's so easy to put a PlayStation 1 game, and they run perfectly on a Raspberry Pi. On a newer Raspberry Pi, the games will, those things rock them. There's no problem whatsoever. Even PCs as old as like the early 2000s can run PS1 games, bitches. Okay, and then you can actually play the games you actually fucking want instead of this fucking bullshit list. But you might be thinking, well, you'll be able to Mac it and mod it and put more games on it. Okay, let me tell you guys right now something. All right, and I meant to cover this on my last video, but I just didn't get around to it. I forgot because I covered a lot of topics up in that bitch. PS1 games are big, okay? I'm not saying they're huge, especially with fast internet. I mean, you can download them in no time. But at the same time, we're talking 300, 400, 500 megabytes. You know what I mean? I think 400's about as big as they got. But they're big files. You know, a few of these games, you're already up to a gig in pretty much no time. I really don't know how much space, internal memory, is going to be on this to put any more games on. And, you know, some of the, you know, best games are usually multi-disc games. I would want to put Lunar on there, but that's like 3 fucking discs. So it's like, is there going to be enough room for that? I really highly doubt it. Unless there's going to be some kind of expanded storage, which there's just not going to be. I really don't see that. It really depends on how much internal storage and how much time people want to take to try to hack this. I don't know, bitches. I'm thinking that this is going to be some kind of weird proprietary emulator or something, if I had to take a guess. Because how are they going to do like a multi-disc game on here? Really, the only multi-disc game on here is like Metal Gear Solid and Final Fantasy. Like, how is that even going to work to switch discs in that? Is it just going to be in one seamless experience? Are these, you know, kind of altered ports? Because when you do it on like an emulator, like RetroPie and stuff, there's different things. You can put the different discs in at the same time. You know, it's kind of fiddly. I don't know how they're going to pull that off. Which means I think it's going to be some kind of weird thing, but it could happen. I hope it does. And if it does, and it's easy to put games on it, maybe I'll pick one up. But at the same time, You got these controllers with no fucking analog sticks, wasting your goddamn time, insulting you right in front of your face, in front of your children with this fucking nonsense, okay? Half these games, okay, I'm gonna get to it right now, bitches. All right, I'll skip over the games I've already talked to save time because I only got 22 minutes to record on this bitch. I just realized looking at the time, so let's get into it. Final Fantasy VII, y'all guys all know. Okay, a new one that was announced is Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto. Okay, I don't know. No, okay? Decent game. I don't really think of it as a classic. As a matter of fact, I don't really think of GTA as getting really good until 3. GTA 1 and 2 were games I rented a few times and played, but it's nothing I would purchase or ever want. As a matter of fact, I still don't own those games in my collection. My collection of 300 PS1 games. So it should show you how much I care for this game. Another one they announced was Metal Gear Solid. A good choice, okay? Probably the best game on here. Yeah, it's about the one I would probably play the most, but we'll get into that in a minute. I'm very surprised about that pick, which means they went the extra steps to get a hold of Konami and get the rights to put this on here. But obviously, no Symphony of the Night, which I told you guys was not going to be on here because they don't want it cannibalizing into the Castlevania Requiem that just got released, which was only released on one console, and it's fucking weird. It's just weird. So, next game they announced was Twisted Metal. Now, I knew they were going to do this, and I was having a conversation with somebody right before this was 2 days ago, and we were talking about which one do you think they'll put on if they put a Twisted Metal game, and I said the first one. And here we are once again. And that's what they fucking did. Because that shows you that Sony is so tone deaf that they don't even know, which games are the most popular in their own franchises. It would have been no different just to put Twisted Metal 2 on here. What would be the problem with doing that? I don't get it, you know what I mean? That just proves that they just don't get it. Everybody likes Twisted Metal 2 the best. I've never talked to anyone that's ever liked the first game the best in my 31 years of existence on this earth. So it just proves to you how stupid and phoned in this collection is. So the next game we got Battle Arena Toshinden. Ew! Okay, no, that was a one weekend rental about 20 years ago, and I'm good, okay? You know what I mean? I don't ever need to play that game again. This is a game that people played out of necessity when there's nothing else to play on the PlayStation 1. Early game. It's not even an expensive game. It's 50 cents. What the fuck? Okay, we got Cool Borders 2, which is okay. I was just saying, I've been itching to play some Cool Borders. What? You know what I'm saying? We got SSX now in its various forms. There's no real reason to ever go back to Cool Borders. Cool Borders was the beta of SSX. Nobody gives a rat's fuck, okay? Destruction Derby. Literally bargain bin shit here, bitches. When you go into a video game store, a mom and pop shop, and they got the bin of dollar games. Okay, there's 56 copies of Destruction Derby in there, some with manuals, some without, some with half-broken discs. It's not even remotely, it's not even the best game. Destruction Derby 2 is better than that game, eat a dick! I mean, what the fuck, dude? This is just the most tone-deaf thing I've ever seen. We got Intelligent Cube, which is really strange addition, okay? I don't know why they would put this on here. Why not put Twisted Metal 2? Put Twisted Metal 1 and 2. It's some of the best games on early PS1. It's what I think of when I think of PS1. I don't think of Intelligent Cube. The only memory I have of that game is because it came on a demo disc way back in the day, and I played the demo over and over again. Then it became to where you never found that game for sale. It wasn't until fairly recently that I even bought that game, and it's not that great. It's okay. Well, why include it on a classics? Nobody talks about that game. Nobody has that game. The only thing that's good about having it on there is that it is a fairly expensive game now. We got Jumping Flash, which I already talked about. Mr. Driller? What? Oh, am I going to have an aneurysm? Okay, it's not a bad game, but I just... This is supposed to invoke like the classics, what people played on the fucking thing. Mr. Driller, you couldn't give that game away, bitches. I remember that game being in the bargain bin several times. It was just, it never sold that great. It wasn't until later on that people realized that that game was pretty good. Still, to waste a space, you only have 20 fucking spots. You know what I mean? Like, motherfucker, you're throwing the best party ever. You got 20. You can have 20 people at this party. Okay, your mom says you can invite 20 people. Are you gonna invite Mr. Driller? Okay, is Cool Borders 2 coming? I don't fucking think so. Unless they crash that bitch and show up unannounced, have to kick their asses. They ain't coming, bitches, okay? I could just see, Mr. Driller, the next day at school, my invite Mr. got lost in the mail. I'm like, no, I just didn't give it to you, bitch, okay? Because you suck. All right, so we got Oddworld Abe's Odyssey. I mean, bitches. Come on now. Come here for a second. Come here. These games aren't good anymore. They're just not, okay? They were good back in the day. Back in the, in the flashback, Prince of Persia style days when people still played these hard as fuck to control, clunky ass, clunk sauce games. But now, 2018, bitches, I don't want to play this game anymore. They even redid it on the PS4, and I have a physical copy of it, it's a limited run game, and I never play it because it's just not that good anymore. It had its time, it is what it is. There's a reason they don't make a lot of those types of games, those really clunky Prince of Persia movement style games, because they're annoying, bitches. All right, I'm gonna have to speed this up a little bit. I got more games to talk about. We got Rayman, which is like whatever. I guess if you, I won't fault that one. Like, Rayman's pretty good. It does invoke early PS1 and classic style PS1 stuff. You don't need an analog stick to play it. Have at it. Have at you. What is a man? Okay. Resident Evil Director's Cut. I guess. Okay. Here's why I say I guess. Okay, because when I think of Resident Evil Director, what are we talking about here? I mean, if it's the original Director's Cut, not the DualShock, I guess it wouldn't be the DualShock version. That's not bad. That's probably the best version of Resident Evil you could put on there. But, okay, and this shows you how I would want this for the greater good. Okay, the first Resident Evil on the PS1 is probably my favorite of the original Resident Evils, just because I have a lot of nostalgia for it. Okay, but most people, when they talk about Resident Evil, they want Resident Evil 2. Now, that might not be my favorite, but I would not have faulted this thing for putting Resident Evil 2 on here instead of Resident Evil 1. Okay? It is, in a lot of ways, a better game. But once again, you're seeing that Sony just does. I mean, you guys are remaking Resident Evil 2, so they're not, but Capcom is. I mean, isn't somebody at Capcom being like, wouldn't you guys rather have Resident Evil 2? I mean, you know what I mean? But whatever. It's okay for me, but I played Resident Evil so much that I don't, and I wouldn't play that version of Resident Evil anyways. If I was to play Resident Evil 1, the original OG game, I'd probably play it on the DS, because that's like my favorite version of the game. I know a lot of people might think that's blasphemy, but once you start skipping the door loading animations, it's hard to go back, bitches. So this is the strangest choice. This is so out of left field, it's not even playing the same fucking sport anymore. It's like someone's up to bat about to hit a fucking baseball, and someone comes up and kicks you in the face with a soccer ball. That's what this fucking thing is right here. Revelations Persona? What the fuck? You know what I mean? This game, it's an interesting choice. I don't mind it being on there. It's not one of my personal favorites. But this just strikes me as even more of a cash grabby type thing, because Sony knows that the Persona games are like popular now, and then they're just like, let's put a Persona game on there. You know what I'm saying? Not really knowing that this is really not everyone's favorite Persona game. Nobody likes this game the most out of all the Persona games. I've never talked to anyone. It's usually Persona 2. Persona 3, a lot of people like Persona 3, most people like Persona 4, of course those games won't be on there, but still, it's weird. Why not put Parasite Eve on here instead? You know what I mean? Like, that would probably sell it for me. Like, if Parasite Eve and Lunar were on here, I'd buy it, okay? Parasite Eve is even on the Japanese version of this upcoming thing, this upcoming classic console. Why isn't Parasite Eve on this? Okay, like, that game was like a game set in America. It was set in New York City. What the fuck? You know what I mean? So we don't get Parasite Eve, but they keep Persona Revelations on there, which is like a way more Japanese style game than anything. I would think that would be on the American version. I would much rather have the Japanese version. You know, they'd probably all be in Japanese, which would suck, but it's got more RPGs on it. It's got better games, really, in my opinion. But let's finish this off. I'm going to run out of time before I get this shit. We got Super Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. I would never play it. It would never be touched. I would never even open it. They open the game on the thing. It would never happen. We got the first Siphon Filter, which we're talking about a series, a franchise here that is completely dead in the water since the PSP days. And, you know, they're not doing nothing with this franchise at all. A game that is literally one of the cheapest games you can buy on the PS1. You know what I mean? Like, we're talking like you could probably find this game for $1. And it's on here, taking up space, being like, oh, look at me, okay? Fuck you, Siphon Filter, you bitch-ass punk. You're an alright game, but it's not a game I would include on here. I'll play Metal Gear Solid any day of the week. I don't have that much time to play shit anymore. So I'm going to play a game, I'm going to play a masterpiece or something I really love. Why would I play through Siphon Filter again? You know what I mean? And without with a D-pad. Okay. What? I mean, did that game have analog support? I sort of remember it having it. Ew. 3D range of, ew. Okay? No, never playing that. I can't. I just thought of that, like trying to play that with a D-pad. No. Okay. Then I'm gonna save that one for last. I'm gonna skip over that one and save it for last. We've got Wild Arms, which I already talked about. And last but not least, ladies and gentlemen, we got Ridge Racer, which I skipped over to because who gives a fuck, and Tekken 3, eat a dick. We got Wild Arms, and we got everyone's favorite PS1 game, okay? The cherry on top of this fucking shit sandwich. Tom Clancy's Rainbows. What? This is literally like the worst game ever made, man. I used to literally call this game Rainbow Sucks, okay? This game is so fucking horrendously bad that I didn't even play any of the Tom Clancy games ever again for like 10 years after that. Because it scarred me. It literally violated me. Nobody's ever liked this game. When it came out, it got like 1s and 2s out of 10. It plays like a fucking rolling dumpster fire. It's horrendous. This was never a classic. It couldn't have possibly sold that well. It's not even like the Tom Clancy games are all that popular anymore. What the fuck is going on in the world? What the fuck is this? Answer me, man. Okay? What the fuck? This would be like releasing a Dragon Quest collection and only having Dragon Warrior Monsters 2 on it. Or Dragon Warrior 2, okay? Oh, Final Fantasy Greatest Hits collection, all the best. Okay, we got Mystic Quest and that's it. You know what I'm saying? It don't make no sense. You fucks. I knew it. I knew you guys were going to do this. I knew Symphony wasn't going to be on here. I knew Resident Evil 1 was going to be on here. I knew it was going to be Twisted Metal 1 because you motherfuckers don't get it. What is wrong with you? Solid Rob, out.